Well, it's 7 o'clock by that clock. My watch, not quite by that clock. We'll go with 2 hours break. Well,
Yeah, push the button on the microphone.
push the button on my.
Yep. So it lights up.
How about that? All right. Want to thank everybody for showing up. Welcome you here to the 2021 Town of Van Wyck Candidate Meet and Greet. I'm Steve Willis. As of Monday morning, the soon-to-be retired county administrator, and I'm honored to be here. And I know all of y'all are probably going, "Where's Rick Duran? He normally does all the candidate and election stuff." I can only presume he must have had a conflict tonight, couldn't be here. So I'll do my best to fill in for Rick. But I am honored to be here. As indicated, this is a meet and greet. This is not a debate. This is not a forum. We won't be taking questions from the audience up here. Now, once everybody finishes their 5 minutes and have told you about themselves, their platform, what they see as their vision for the town, and they're out here talking to y'all after that, nail them with questions, but we just won't be taking them from up here. The ground rules are each candidate will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves and share their platform, their vision for the town of Van Wyck. And just so y'all know, I've been told, any candidate starts discussing positions of another candidate, I'm going to cut you off because this is not a debate. But as I said, once the formal meet and greet portion up here has been concluded, you're welcome to ask them all the questions you want. Put them on the record, put them on the hot seat. Would like to thank the Van Wyck Community Club for hosting this meet and greet event. Van Wyck, certainly one of our oldest communities in Lancaster County, but it's also the newest municipality. And an awful lot has happened in the short time the town of Van Wyck has existed, but there's still an awful lot to go over the next several years. So this is going to be a crucial election coming up. We got those simple ground rules out of the way. Don't want to waste any more time, and we'll go ahead and start. We're going to recognize the candidates in alphabetical order, but I do need to note we had 2 candidates that are unable to be here tonight. Xavier Key had a class and could not be here, and Kyle Stars had a work commitment and could not be here. Also, following the last candidate, we're going to hear a brief presentation from Fire Chief Greg Ruth concerning the referendum question that is going to be on the November ballot. One thing I'd ask, please do not ask Greg, at least while he's up here. If you want to talk to him in person, that's fine. But while we're up here, don't ask him or don't ask me how you should vote on the referendum. That's a violation of state law, and neither one of us look real good in orange jumpsuits. So we can provide all the factual information you need on the referendum, what would be proposed, and allow you to reach your own conclusion on that particular question. So without further ado, we're doing alphabetical order. The first candidate running for a 2- and 4-year council seat is Lance Kemp Aubrey. And you have 5 minutes, and stand up. 5 minutes.
My name is Lance Aubrey. Most of you know me as Kip. I'm running for a town council seat, and I'm asking for your vote. I'm actually running for 2 seats, a 2-year and a 4-year. I would like you to vote me for both of those positions. I moved to Van Wyck in 1980. I'm a member of the Van Wyck United Methodist Church, and I'm married to Patty, an amazing person. She is an asset to myself, our church, and everyone around her. Over the last 20 years, I was employed with one of Charlotte's highest end builders and developers before working for myself and then retiring. I've held many positions throughout my career, I have worked with people on the low end of the economic scale and people on the highest end of the economic scale. And I lost my mic there. There we go. These experiences give me a broad view of life and a different point of view than most other people. I believe the town's first priority should be police protection. I would like to see the town council offer to pay the complete hiring package for 2 county deputies and 1 fully equipped patrol car. This would be much cheaper for the town than starting a police force. And for the county, it would provide extra manpower in a heavily populated area. The second priority is fire protection. Later tonight, you will hear from our fire chief about a fire district. I encourage you to vote yes. After the fire district passes, the town, being the largest part of the fire district, should look for ways to aid the fire department, maybe a grant or maybe other ways. The third priority is road safety. I would like to see the town put street lights at all intersections. We need to keep our unpaved roads well maintained. We also need to identify which roads we are responsible for and plan for this with our budget, as paving roads is very expensive. I do not believe we need a bunch of unnecessary ordinances, but we do need a few ordinances. Everyone
Join the meeting.
Developers coming in and clear cutting. The proposals in the 2031 plan won't stop this. Cluster and pod housing actually causes clear cutting by saying, don't cut this part of your property, build all your homes over here. I believe the best way to address this is by lot size, 1 acre plus. 2 acres would be better. 1 acre plus would be a lot that was measured from the road right of way, not the edge of the road or the center of the road. And it would have a ratio between width and depth. This will eliminate the incentive for developers to clear cut. Van Wyck is a special place to live. And I believe what makes it special is the mix: a farmer, a factory worker, a construction worker, an office worker, a retail sales worker. I would like to see at least a few lots in any new neighborhood be available to people of medium and lower income levels to help maintain this mix. I do not plan to vote to approve any gated community. If you don't want to be part of the community, live somewhere else. I do not plan on voting to accept any existing neighborhood into the town. I do plan to reach out to people that are not here tonight, see what they think about issues, and try to get them involved. I will be listed on the ballot as Lance Aubrey. I'm running for 2 seats. I'd like for you to vote for me for both of them, and thank you very much.
You had a little bit of time left. You've got to learn that as a politician. You never give up time. Next candidate for mayor, John Corcoran.
I'll take his time.
Sorry, just not.
Evening. I will do what I can with 5 minutes allotted. So real quick, I want to give my thanks to Linda Vaughn, Jane Massey, and the Van Wyck Community Development Club for hosting this evening, and to Steve for being our moderator. Thank you, appreciate it. So a little bit of background about me. I'm Sean Corcoran. I'm the current mayor. Have been for the last 2 terms for a total of 4 years. I'm an attorney by profession. I do commercial real estate, and I've been practicing for about 15 years in North Carolina. Lived here for the last 10. And I've been involved from the very get-go with the town's efforts to incorporate very early on when the Treetops development came in, and we started going down to the county council to try to persuade them that cluster developments didn't make sense in our area. And when that didn't succeed and it came through, we started our effort to ensure that the town was able to have these decisions and make these decisions on its own by incorporating. And so I've been with it the whole time. It's always been about giving us the tools to control the direction of growth in our area and to minimize the burdens on our community through brought by the direction of growth in the area and minimize the burdens of our community brought by that growth. Essentially to keep us as a viable community and balance the benefits and the burdens that come with that growth and introduction of new businesses to our area. What have we done that's being incorporated in the last 4 years? I've got a list. I'm going to hopefully get through this and another one before we run out of time. So first off, we founded the town. We created ordinances and procedures necessary for the town to function, set up accounts, budgets, the agendas, plans of the comprehensive plan, acquired revenue, and pulled together with our neighbors to run the town. We formed the Town Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals to spearhead the creation of the town comprehensive plan and the development ordinance that we're still trying to develop. And here matters related to zoning and development. We expanded the town's footprint through a substantial and consensual annexation project. I believe we are 4 or 5 times larger than we were when we initially started out, thanks to that annexation project. We established twice annual community roadside cleanup days. Not everyone attends those. Love to see more of you. If you could, we have another one coming up soon. We assumed responsibility for the maintenance and improvement of this community center property. The floors would be one of the newest additions, along with ceiling. And you'll notice if you are on the internet here, we have high-speed Wi-Fi. I'll get to that in a second. We secured capital sales tax funds for the community center park project, which is still in the works. Hats off to Stuart Graham and his work on the capital sales tax committee for that. Thank you. The beginning of the COVID lockdown, we set up the high-speed public Wi-Fi access point here to provide residents with free and adequate access to school, work, and online medical visits. We brought community-wide fiber optic high-speed internet to the town years ahead of schedule. Kenny Gregory's not here, but he deserves a lot of credit for that. Everybody in the town has the ability to access high-speed fiber optic-based broadband. We wouldn't have seen that for many, many years to come, but for the COVID funds that we were able to procure for that. Through our events committee volunteers, we had the recent craft expo and sculpture exhibition that you've seen around town. We advocate with the South Carolina Department of Transportation and COG for roadway improvements. And we currently have on deposit revenue in the amount of $989,471. All of that without assessing real estate levies on your property. We've managed to get that through other means. So, looking forward, on the agenda, should I be reelected? A town council has been looking at creation of a town development ordinance and the process for implementing it. The community park project that I brought up, it's the early phase, but we're going to be getting into that much more heavily as we're able to get contractors involved. It's picking up steam. Sidewalks and streetscape improvements, such as lighting, in the historic business district down at the bottom of the hill. Intersection improvements and roadway resurfacing as state funding is made available. Most of our roads around here are state maintained roads. And so we have to continually advocate with the SCDOT and the county to try to make sure that those are repaired as they come up and improved. Work with the Van Wyck Fire Department on funding improvements to the fire station. I've been talking to Craig for the last several months. And as the referendum goes through, we're going to begin talking to them further about how the town can partner with them on that project. And working with the town events committee to hold more events like the craft fair, auto shows, antique fairs, live music, things that bring out folks and get you to participate in the town. And also funding charitable outreach efforts through the latest round of COVID relief funding. We have a big plug of money potentially coming in, somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000 through that funding package. And we're going to need everyone's assistance to try to figure out how best we can use that to serve the community. Well, that's it then. Thank you very much.
And next up, we have Bob Doster, candidate for a 2-year term on county council, excuse me, county council. I'm so used to that. Town council.
I'm Bob Doster. I'm a sculptor, been self-employed since I was 18 years old. Pretty much everything Sean said. I can't do any better than that. I've been behind every bit of it. If you don't like it, then, vote me out. But if you vote me in, I'm going to continue to work as hard as we've been working to make Van Wyck a fine place to live for everyone and to float everybody's boat a little higher without raising any taxes. We'll try to have cultural events going on. And my main goal is to try to look 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road and figure out what we need. We've seen what happened in Indian land in the last 10 years. A lot of that we don't want here. That's why we became a town. We want to keep this rural country atmosphere. And so, houses, 1 acre minimum. And I would like to see, mini farms, encourage that kind of development, as opposed to big developers coming in and clear cutting like they did down at Lennar, where you can see from 521 to Riverside. That's what the tree ordinance is against. It's not against somebody wanting to, cut their pine trees that they've been growing for 20 years and put a pasture in or put more pine trees in. So, if you like what I've been doing, I appreciate your vote. If you don't, you got a nice choice of people up here to choose from. All right, thank you.
Really have some time left over on that. Next speaker will be Stuart Graham, candidate for a 4-year council seat.
Good evening. My name is Stuart Graham. I'm running for town council, the 4-year seat. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. I'm super excited about serving the opportunity to serve the town of Van Wyck on town council. So what a great place to raise a family and live. We've got a bunch of, as Bob said, we've got a bunch of good candidates. It's so good to see a lot of involvement and interest in how this town works. I think there's other towns that are in the same county that don't have the same thing that we do. So I think it's a really good thing that we should be proud of. A little bit about me. I grew up on Van Wyck Road. So I've been in Van Wyck all my life. Parents are Terry and Jeannie Graham, and sisters are Amanda and Nancy. I went to college at University of South Carolina, and I have a double major in finance and business management. After I graduated, I came back to Van Wyck. I bought the yellow house this down the hill here. And actually, I bought it at the courthouse steps. And I think there was quite a number of y'all that actually were there. It's kind of an interesting way to buy your first house, but it worked out and started fixing it up. Julie and I got married, and we have 3 kids, Rachel, Stuart, and Sarah, 9th grade, 7th grade, and 4th grade, all in the Indian Land School District. And Julie is my wife, and she's a 7th grade English teacher in the Indian Land Middle School. A lot of things that I get into, very active in sports. All the kids play sports year round, and we spend a lot of time volunteer coaching and being out on the ball field. So a little bit about me from a business perspective. I spent almost 17 years in a corporate setting and really retail banking at Sharon Federal Credit Union, which is headquartered up in Indian Land. It's a $1.8 billion credit union. And I really enjoy credit unions. So they're much better than banks. So if you're looking for a new relationship, join a credit union. It's much better. That's my credit union plug. So I spent a lot of years in different roles there. The majority of what I was doing is leading credit cards and consumer lending division at Sharon View. I really enjoyed working there, but I started thinking about other things, and my parents were running a very successful business called the Ivy Place, which is a farm and events venue. And I kind of got out of the corporate thing and I joined them there. And the reason why I say that is I've got that kind of an interesting background with corporate side, building budgets and going through project management and all that kind of stuff that goes with that. But I also have very intimate knowledge of how to run a small business and how to run a small business in post-COVID, small family business, which can be interesting as well. And I'm really happy to say that got my other two sisters to join too. So my Amanda quit her corporate job and joined us about a year ago. And my other sister, who is a landscape architect, just quit her job and she'll be joining us. Her last day is on Friday. So I'm super excited about that. So a couple other things is I'm very involved in the Van Wyck Presbyterian Church. I've been going there all my life. I'm currently serving as treasurer there as well. You go down Old Hickory Road on Saturday afternoon, you'll usually see me riding around on a lawnmower, cutting the grass and blowing and doing that kind of stuff. Some other things going on. Sean mentioned it. I was nominated to go on to serve on the Sales Tax Commission for Lancaster County, which was really important, and we were able to direct funds and support some really cool projects. And very things that were needed in Lancaster County. And one of those things that was approved was the improvements in the park recreation area here. So really excited to be part of that. This past year, I also led the group that was responsible for doing Ag and Art tour for Lancaster County. So it's a really cool tour that and artisans to come out and see what's going on at the farms and see what people do and what they make. So it's a really good opportunity to, so that's me. A couple of big things for me is putting curbs in place for developers and making sure that we don't overthink what we're doing. Good. That's something that's really important to me. The other biggest thing for me is strategic planning. 3, 5, 10 years down the road, where does this thing go? What does that look like? How do we put the things in place to do that? That is something that I have a lot of experience doing that in my past job, and something that I really, really want to be involved in that process at the town of Van Wyck. So in November, I'd ask for your vote to vote for Stuart Graham, Town Council. Thank you.
This is also a chance to thank all of y'all that voted for the capital project sales tax. It's amazing over the time. We started off with just a single project, the courthouse. Then we went to public safety radios, road improvements. This time we had a host of different projects and really going to make a tremendous improvement in the community. Next up, we have Sheena Henson, candidate for a 4-year term on town council.
Hello, everybody. As he said, my name is Sheena Henson. My husband and I, we've been here in Van Wyck for a little over 2 years now. A little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Lancaster County. I grew up out in Beaufort. So, it's like the other country part of Lancaster. So we really, really love it out here in Van Wyck. We like the community feel, neighbors helping neighbors and, all the benefits of a community, but without the HOAs, right? I think a lot of us are on the same page as far as that goes. But I want to introduce, so I've got my husband, Derek. He does IT work for the city of Charlotte at the police department. And I've got 4 children, Colin, Chandler, Brianna, and Bonnie. And then we've got a handful of pets that we've adopted from the 4-way stop here. So that's great. Just don't spread the word. We're not adopting anymore. But about myself, so like I said, born and raised in the county. I work in the dental field. I work clinically as a dental hygienist, and I travel and do some work as a dental practice consulting and a consultant and do some leadership coaching and mentoring and things like that across the country. The reason I want to help here in Van Wyck is I feel that one of the places that I've got experience is communication. And as I've spoken to many of you guys, the recurring theme is communication. We don't know what's going on. We aren't told what's going on. So can I tell you that I have there we go. Okay. So can I tell you that I have I feel your pain, Stuart. All right. So I don't have the okay, try again. So again, I don't have the solution to our communication problems. But what I can promise you is by talking to you guys individually and collectively, I'm going to do my very best to try to figure out what that solution looks like for our town. You know, we've tried different avenues. I know the current council members, they've, had everything online, they've posted out here, but we figured out that that doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So as a council member, I want you to know that one of my primary focuses will be that level of transparency. And here we go again. That level of transparency and, troubleshoot to figure out what's going to work best for us in the long term. This isn't a short-term thing we've got going on here. So we need to kind of look ahead and see what's going to serve us best as a town. One of the other things that, as far as platform goes, that you constantly hear about is growth. And what does that mean for Van Wyck? Everybody in this room, I guarantee if you did a survey, we all know we want to keep Van Wyck, Van Wyck. We moved here because of the charm. We moved here because of the agricultural field, and we want it to be this way. But I think we also can realistically say that unless we can just buy up all the land, we can't really just totally stop the growth, right? I think we can all agree on that. So one thing I think is very important for the leadership of this town in general, current and future, is that we get the right structure in place so that the growth we do have that's inevitable is the kind that we want. Now, I'm not inviting a bunch of HOA type rules, but there we go. Hello. Okay. I don't think we should run this like an HOA, but I think that we should also be realistic and not base a lot of our decisions on assumptions that everybody feels the same way. So again, that's kind of my platform, just open communication and just smart, realistic growth, in the way that we want it. We have a great opportunity right now to get ahead of this and not wait 10 years down the road and be like Indian land with kind of everything exploding around us. So that would be my priority as a council member. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Tell you what, we'll just try holding it. Maybe that seems to work better. Oh, me. Next up, we have Cassandra Watkins, who's a candidate for both a 2 and a 4-year term on town council.
Thank you. Well, I'm gonna piggyback off what Sean said. I've been serving for the last 4 years, so if you don't like what I'm doing, you can vote me out. I'm Cassandra Watkins. I'm married to Rodney Watkins. I grew up on Steel Hill Road. I've been here all my life. I'm 50 years old. I know I look good. Thank you very much. I own a cleaning business with my husband. We have a contract up at the Fillmore, and I also have a spa in Baxter Village. I don't have any kids. Our business is our kids and the town council. That's been my baby for the last 4 years. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the town of Van Wyck for the past 4 years. I'm not afraid to agree to disagree and stand up for what I believe. If I'm reelected for a 3rd term, I will continue to listen with an open mind and with a compassionate heart to the needs and concerns of our citizens. And I will always try to vote in a manner that best represents the entire town. I serve at Trinity Baptist Church and White Oak AME Zion Church. And the reason I ran in the first place was Mr. Witherspoon was encouraging somebody from the church to run. So thank you for being here, Gladys, to support. But I, like I said, I've been here all my life. I love our town. I love the citizens, and I try to be, open-minded to every, when people talk to me. What else? I will just continue to be there for you guys if you reelect me. And if not, that's fine too. I've been volunteering this whole time, so I don't mind volunteering on the planning committee or something else. So you can vote for 2-year term or 4-year term. It's all on you. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you. And next up, Bobby Yoder, candidate for mayor.
Thank you, hear me. I don't think they can hear me. Not everybody here probably knows me. I'm Bob Yoder. Lived here for 70 years, all my life. Give you a little background on me. I've got 2 college degrees. I've been president of several organizations in the county. Currently serving as president of Lancaster County Farm Bureau for the last 8 years. And in that, in the South Carolina Farm Bureau state organization, I'm on the strategic planning committee. We got 5-year plans. We do them every 5 years. I've been on that every exception. I'm on the state nominating committee and also on the state legislative committee. So I've been on a lot of committees and know how things work. That's just a little background. Like I say, I'm here to serve as mayor of Van Wyck because I love this town. I'm a lifelong resident of Van Wyck. I've farmed here in Van Wyck 70 years. My parents grew up here and I grew up here. And my children grew up here. My grandchildren come to Van Wyck to hunt, fish, ride tractors, play in the woods, fields. I want my family to continue to be able to farm and enjoy the land for as long as possible. However, I realize that Van Wyck, because of its location between Shaw, Rockville, and Lancaster, will grow. Any land is already exploded with uncontrolled growth. I don't want to see Van Wyck lose an open land because of uncontrolled growth. In addition, and my priorities are what to do for Van Wyck, I'd like to maintain the wonderful rural and small town atmosphere we have. If taxes become necessary, we'll keep them at a minimum. And keep Van Wyck's big town business open and transparent. It to include as many people as possible in the town's decision making. You live here, you need to know what's going on, you need to have a voice of what goes on. You got a good set of council people here running, and I think they're gonna do a good job, whoever gets. And the biggest problem I see with what we've got right now is getting the citizens to participate in the decision making process. And the steps I would take to do that, in addition to newsletter, post office posting, town of Van Wyck website, I plan to solicit help and opinions from my citizens whenever there's a problem arises that involves their land and home. I will solicit their opinion on how to move forward and satisfy as many people as possible. I also plan on visiting the communities of our neighbors and local groups to get their opinion on upcoming matters. I want to hear and consider everyone's opinion, even if it's not mine. This is what we're here for, and I'm not going to go into a bunch of stuff. Sean and them did a great job. They got a good foundation. We're here to expand up if we can, but we want to keep Van Wyck Van Wyck. I thank you. I hope you vote for it. Appreciate it.
appreciate this. And I'd like to ask all of y'all to join me in giving a round of applause to these folks. Over my career, I've worked with a lot of city councils, county councils, and it has got to be the most thankless job on the face of the earth. As a government bureaucrat, at least I get paid to have to put up with some of the issues. These folks volunteer to do that. And, certainly commend them for their service to the community and willingness to put yourself out there. And, just cannot thank y'all enough. The other thing before we hear from the chief is don't forget, November 2nd, if you don't vote, your voice didn't really count for anything. So don't forget that. So now I'd like to turn it over to the chief and talk about a referendum question that is coming up.
Y'all that don't know me, my name is Craig Roof. I've been a member of the Whick Fire Department for 22 years. I've been a chief there for the past 12. The referendum that we're trying to get put together is to better protect our community. We've had plenty of support for the past 22 years that I've been there. We continue to need the support from our community. So on November 2nd, the referendum is to do a $90 fee that goes on your homeowner's taxes once a year. And what that money is used for is used to fund firefighters, build stations, just the miscellaneous stuff that we have to do to keep operating to serve our community. So what we're looking to do is take that money, if it passes, provide 2 firefighters, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, when the fee grows enough to where we can fund that. And we're in the process, we need a new building because of the future growth. We're going to have another truck, and the building that we have right now will buy a house. So November 2nd, we hope we get y'all's support. Thank you.
Before you go, would you mind telling the audience just a little bit about the relationship between what y'all have resource-wise and ISO and how that impacts their insurance?
Okay. Well, what we have right now, we have a countywide ISO of 4, which makes your insurance rates a lot lower than what we used to have. We used to have a 9 and 10. So the equipment that we have, it plays a lot of big part in what how they get their rating to make your insurance rates lower. So that's why we're proposing to do what we're doing, because the paid staff will help and incorporate all the paperwork, all the equipment, and all the tools and everything that we need to get that done. But it also puts daytime staff on to get all the paperwork done that goes along with all that. Pleasant Valley and Indian Land, they have the same fee that we're trying to get now. And that's how they are becoming to have a 24-hour station. They're manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So with all the upgrades and everything that we get, that we're working on a 3 for our insurance rates right now. Hopefully everything goes through, and hopefully we'll be able to serve our community a lot better than what we do now.
I do appreciate it. And thank you, not only to the Van Wyck Fire Rescue, but all of our volunteer firefighters. I was a volunteer a long time ago with the city of Lancaster, but we had career firefighters. So if my pager went off, I knew I was going to an actual fire. These folks do everything and don't know where we'd be without our volunteer firefighters. That concludes everything. Any closing comments, Jamie? Nothing? Okay. I want to thank everybody for attending, and all these folks are now yours. Nail them with questions.